Can we give a quick synopsis on what happened in the situation?
Well, in May of last year, on a subway, there was a young black kid by the name of Jordan Neely,
Yep.
who clearly had mental illness. He suffered from mental illness. He supposedly, allegedly got on the train. He started making threats. He started making people uncomfortable. This was clearly not a first-time incident. Jordan Neely, Daniel Perry decided that because of the threats he heard, he decided to take Jordan Neely down. And basically what he did is he put him wrestled him down and put him in a chokehold and choked him out.
Mm-hmm.
He choked him to death and he died. Jordan Neely died. I think what was disturbing about the situation, because a lot of people say, well, hey, he was making, he's making threats or whatever. This kid died.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing. Okay, first of all, I'm bothered that he put his hands on him anyway. But second of all, it's not the fact that it's not that I could have lived with it. Okay, you attacked him, but he's alive.
Yeah.
You took this dude down and you choked him out. And if you've seen the video, then you see two other people over
holding
there
him down,
trying to hold him when he's trying to break free because he's dying. There's things I want to say. I'm going to refrain myself from promoting violence. I just want to say this. If that was my child, everybody in that video should be concerned and put their affairs in order. That's all I want to say. Mm-hmm. That's a father's reaction. That is the most disturbing thing to see. So I guess to kind of, because I don't want to be all over the place, because how I get going sometimes. Yeah. Point I'm making is there was an article in USA Today, and it bothered me.
Can you show the paper?
Okay, so yeah, it's an article
because we're still from the era where we buy newspapers.
Right. So there's this article from in the USA Today. It's the opinionated part of the whole Daniel Perry situation. And I think what bothers me about it, two things. I mean, Daniel Penny, I apologize, Daniel Penny. Before I get into this article, so there was $3 million raised for this dude for his defense.
Because the public called him a hero.
And it was from a Christian right wing, which let me not even get started on that. But there's the opinion article, and one is coming from Nicole Russell, and the other one is coming from Sarah Paquino.
So before we get into it, can you name the two writers again from the opinionated part?
Nicole Russell, which she was defending Daniel Penny's actions on Jordan Neely, right? And she was calling him a hero. And then there was Sarah Paquino. I hope I'm not butchering your name. I completely apologize if I am. But she was also stating it from an objective fact from Jordan Neely. So it's kind of looking at it from two different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
What I kind of got from when I looked at Nicole Russell's article, opinionated article, she was basically saying that she was just looking at the statements from the case. And clearly she said that, Jordan Neely had got in there and started making threats. People felt uncomfortable. People were tired of him because this wasn't his first time. And in her eyes, she's been in situations where she's felt threatened and threatening situations. Now, I don't know what she's talking about, but then I'm going to give my opinion. So let me just follow me. So she starts talking about, how, it's a good thing that he was around and that he's a Marine and that he, at first she wasn't with the way he handled the situation. But then when she looks at the statements or the facts, not even facts, but the accusations about Jordan Neely, she kind of understood why Daniel Penny did what he did. Mm-hmm. And then she said that, she used the word that she called him a hero, which to me, in my opinionated word, that's total BS. He's not a hero for choking out a mentally ill person that clearly has severe mental illness. And when you look at the background of it, I don't understand. He's a hero. How is he a hero? You act like he was taking down some dude that was terrorizing the whole train.
Mm-hmm.
He just was getting on people's nerves, and they decided they had enough, and he chose to put him in a chokehold, and he didn't let him go. It's clear as day in the video. So now let me give you the flip side. Sarah Paquino, who it was talking about it and being very, very much objective, just as objective as she was. she talked about it, and she said that, Jordan Neely, he suffered from mental illness. So starting at age 14, his mother, but people didn't know, his mother was murdered by her boyfriend. He watched that. He saw that. He was a victim of that. So he entered the foster care system. He had multiple run-ins with law enforcement. He experienced homeless immediately all through his life. He went through all types he was schizophrenic. He had all types of situations, episodes. I'm not defending this guy, but there was clearly other ways that this could have been handled. And if you clearly knew that this gentleman was on a train and that he had certain issues and the mental illness, somebody could have called. You heard people in the background saying to let him go. He didn't let him go. He chose to choke him out. And the thing about this case that infuriates me is what people are not talking about. They try to sweep this under the rug. And I don't know how it got out, but I think people was like, nah, like this needs to be addressed. They weren't even pressing charges. It just got so much attention they had to press charges. So then they press charges and they take him to court. But Jordan Neely clearly had some issues, and he clearly was going through a lot. And it was talking about how in this case, with Sarah Miss Sarah Pequeno, once again, she was talking about, now listen to this part of the article, and this is what very disturbing. She said that despite finding Neely she said that when the cops got there, right?
Yeah.
She said despite finding Neely not breathing when they arrived, police officers did not give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and took minutes to begin chest compressions. In the testimony, Sergeant Carl Johnson said he didn't tell his officers to give Neely mouth-to-mouth, fearing they would contract AIDS or another disease. I'm not done yet. Instead of being treated like a person experiencing a mental health crisis, Neely was treated as a perpetrator. It's hard not to think about how these moments could have played out differently had a healthcare professional been the one to answer the call. Let that sit there. They didn't do anything to him because they was afraid of contracting the AIDS virus. How ignorant can you be, right? And then she also talks about somewhere in this article, I'm not going to break down the whole thing. Let me just say this. The one thing that I think that, and I agree with her that what's going to happen is, the message, I'm kind of concerned more about the message. So now if this guy got acquitted and nothing ever happened to him, he did some vigilante thing.
Yeah.
It was vigilante justice. Oh, well, I'm going to protect the people that need to be protected as, what's her name? Sarah Russell, Nicole Russell stated. She's, he took vigilante justice, and we need that type of vigilante justice around. Let me tell you, as a New Yorker, and you from the island too, because you stayed there, that happens every day on the train. That happens every day. So what you gonna say? Are you really trying to paint a picture like we were just getting terrorized every day? You know what people do when they see that? They tune it out, ignore it, or they get off the train and wait for the next train, or they move to the next car. Do not act like he got on that train and y'all were just in total shock and didn't know what to do. What it was a bunch of cowards, and you watch this dude who, I'm sorry, I don't know if it quacks like a duck and sounds like a duck. It clearly is one. You choked out this young defenseless black boy and you decided and you got away with it. Let's just call it what it is.
Can I interject?
And oh, by the way, Nicole Russell, on her opinion, she's a mother of four that lives in Texas. So clearly, this is a real. Her opinion is, I don't know. I'm not going to say nothing. Let that just sit there. Whereas with Sarah Pequeno, she's a native New Yorker. She gets on the train. So like me, she's seen this every day. This is not that bad. You choked this kid out, man.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
The interjection is coming from, because I was reading some comments on social media. Oh, don't try to make this about race, because there was like either a black and a Hispanic person that was there holding him down as well. So this wasn't a race, and then there was a black. Like the way they painted it was, they tried to shield Daniel Penny by saying there was other black people around him okaying it. What is your thoughts on that?
They probably was one of the ones that said tell him let him go.
No, the black person holding him down that was stopping him. No.
I don't remember seeing a black. I think I've seen a Spanish
like a Hispanic,
person.
Like it was a brown person.
Let me tell you something, man. I think people of color, black people, whatever you want to call us at this stage. I mean, they said that they didn't do anything about it. They probably were ignoring it at one point because this is what we do. Let's just be honest. when we see somebody acting like that, that kid got choked. If I was there, that would have never happened. If I saw that kid stop breathing or he looked like he's about to check out, I'd have started kicking Daniel Penny. He got his head whooped. Come do that to me and see if you make it home. You're not going to choke out young black boys. And let me tell you something. As much as black women need to be protected, and I'm not saying that black men are weak, we need to watch each other's back. There was no way, and if there was black people on that train that saw that, and black men that were physically capable of dealing with Daniel Penny, they are cowards too, and they need to get locked up. There's no way you should let him choke that little black boy out. What was Daniel Penny going to do? I mean, I think not Daniel Penny, Jordan Neely. I think we've seen pictures of him. He physically can't fight this dude. You choked this dude out, and the dude had a muffin in his pocket. So what did he have that you thought he was doing?
I think I seen him in New York because you lived there and I lived in Long Island where I had to take the train in to see. I think I've seen him a while. This dude looked like 140 pounds soaking wet. So
no threat.
So well, it's not a threat. It's like I when we talked about this last year, I got 3 other brothers. I got cousins, boy cousins. We play wrestle when we were young. We know how to properly restrain each other.
Right.
We know when putting somebody in the fiend chokehold was too much. Because you're not about to kill your cousin and have to answer to your grandmother because you were sitting there choking out your cousin for 6 minutes.
Right.
Like, let's really think. Boys play wrestle. Never had a problem getting choked or choking out my brother because we knew the consequences. See where I'm going with this? There was a proper way to restrain that dude, even if everything you're saying is correct. If you fear because he was terrorizing people, body slam him, keep him on his stomach until the cops come. Sit on his back. Am I tripping about that?
No, and you know what's bothering me? I guess the father was upset, which I don't. That's another story for another day. I can just say this: if I was the father, I would find out when he was riding that train. I would be finding those dudes. I just give it time. Just give it time. Just give it time. I think it goes to what we've been knowing from day one. It's just like, and I'm not trying to be funny with the whole, I'm not even trying to get into that Trump thing, but let me say this much. We're seeing who America is. They are making it clear how they see and look at us. And they have no value on our lives. So I'm just telling you, if you're a young person of color, because trust me, if you're Spanish, trust me, you are not absolved. They will do it to you too. They're showing you and showing and telling you we have no regard for black men's lives or people of color's lives. They're showing you. What more do you need to see? What more do you need to see? I don't understand it. And let me tell you something else that may not be a popular opinion. I won't say no names as of right now because we have a lot more we got to talk about. I'm sick and tired of fathers crying on camera. What you crying for? What are you crying for? Go deal with it. And I don't want to hear, not to cut you off, I don't want to hear let's praise Jesus and forgive him. I can forgive him after I do what I got to do. I'll forgive him after that. How about that? So when I do whatever I got to do, how long I got to wait, and like I said, we're not going to promote violence on this, and we're not going to do it. But the way I feel right now, trust me when I tell you, it all circles back around to where we're going to go with this. Let me make this side note. We just seen what happened with Little Durk. They went through other states and flew on planes to deal with something when it was their own people and then somebody that looked like them. When it's that, people just sat down there and just watched. And the fathers are crying.
Say that again.
Nobody's gonna go take a plane, a flight. Nobody's gonna make a call. Nobody's gonna risk their freedom for that. But for a situation where
it's your homeboys,
and it's
street related,
it's over the most dumbest crap. That's the word I'm gonna use. You willing to do life? You're gonna do 25 years of life for that?
Well, I know we was getting off of hip hop, but I don't know if you saw today they tied another murder to Little Durk. So now he's facing 2 murder for hire charges. Crazy. Not just the one on King Von, but Little Durk's older brother got killed around the same time, and they're saying that he had something to do with hitting the person that killed his brother.
Let me say this too. I think that needs to how can I make this away? So because I know you always kind of school me on things. I will say this: until it's one of them. They're going to keep doing it. This ain't going to be the last time. So if you don't want to keep sitting up there crying and praise Jesus and call Al Sharpton and the network to go sue somebody and get some money, it's going to keep happening. Because that's how they look at it. We'll pay you. Don't that sound like slavery? We'll pay you for this life. You know, they want a civil lawsuit. Yay! You can have that money. I want something from you that's priceless that you ain't gonna get back. That's what I want. Then we can forgive you. We can praise Jesus all day and forgive you. That's what we can do.
I hate to pit. Words are powerful, so I'm gonna try to parse my words.
Yeah.
But my father said a similar thing. And I don't like putting this negative energy out in the universe, but he said, if anything ever happened to you, son, I already lived my life.
Yep.
He said, my father now is 60 years old. We had this conversation, like, I was in my 20s, so my father was in his 40s when we had this conversation. He said, I could deal with if something happened naturally, natural causes. I'll cry, I can deal with it. But he said, if anything happened, this around the Trayvon Martin situation and the Tamir Rice, he said, if anything like that were to happen to you, he said, and I'm going to paraphrase it, Dad, so don't get at me, pretty much that he's putting his Christianity to his side.
Yeah, you got to.
I lived my life, and he said, they going to hell with me.
Yep.
That's exactly the words my father said. He said, if anything happens to you like Tamir Rice, like Mike Brown, like Trayvon Martin, I'm meeting them in hell.
Yeah. I just got to take
and
that
I'll just leave it at that.
I just got to take that loss. I'm just going to have to do it.